mental who be one.
Yeah, no. Exchange rate, yeah.
Oko out said on my
no, but people say official exchange rate. Yeah, now better. I don't want to be
commercial bank. One come back Ghana come besia. Obako Rubber Bank na ko Modu Rubber Bank. Atwo kan Rubber Bank na boko. And Ghana commercial ADB name them. I want to go at 28%. 28.
The Bank of Ghana has raised its benchmark monetary policy rate by 100 BPS to 28% during its January 2023 meeting, below market forecast of 28.75%, bringing borrowing cost to the highest since at least the 2000s to try to tame soaring inflation and shore up its currency. The annual headline inflation rate is quintuple the 10% ceiling of the central bank's target range, having reached 54.1% in December of 2022.
It is their policy directive.
Yeah.
But the point is that
what the commercial banks
they but who could do
about 28 and 40% now could that's too much.
Me ba from kwa beka say even if it is 13 pa but me catch say opa check it I mean my group want check them bank be no more interest rate 28% is here.
It has never happened even under the NDC. Say the
policy rate lower than
same as the why are you talking like this?
No, you see
there has never been a time that why you look
try
the official
report the argument I'm trying to make. Okay, I'm making a point that
yes.
Me catch that was interest rate cost.
It was 54%.
Okay, 40%.
So you see,
54 was inflation.
Yeah. And per the World Bank reports, we had according to World Bank, we have the highest food inflation rate.
Sure.
And I'm do call ya better was say imposa ban so we planting for food and jobs. The ban is saying you aduane bo timi kosoro chen obi ade in Africa. Obra was spend this get that particular angle. We are now no mind say. Now more try some spread that argument and tranco other areas. Instead of more can and the government didn't focus on that area. Okay, but what the focus on now could just 1 point food. Food in Nigeria was spending millions of cities in Nigeria. We have the highest food inflation in Africa. It's women and Canada.
But I would love to see the source of that because
you know it.
I agree. I mean, somebody just sent me. Somebody just sent me the World Bank. 10 countries with the highest food price inflation in the latest World Bank assessment. Where October 16th, 2022. October 16th, 2022. That's roughly about 4-5 months. That'd be 2022. It'll be 4-5 months ago.
Almost 5 months ago.
Yeah. And now the top 10 countries hit hardest by food inflation. Number 1 is Zimbabwe. Nominal percentage year on year, 353%. Zimbabwe. Number 2 is Lebanon, 198%. Number 3, Venezuela, 131%. Number 4, Turkey, 89%. Iran, number 5, 84%. Sri Lanka, number 6, 83%. Argentina, number 7, 71%. Moldova number 8, 38, Rwanda number 9, 34, and Ghana number 10, 34. And where information based on where food price inflation data are available. And that's the data. Maybe say 5 months down the line and Nsesa Abba I must say Ghana Ababeda number 1. Maybe when we get the details of yours now we'll see. But as at October 2022,
Ghana was among the top 10.
Top 10, sure.
Thank you.
Ghana among the top 10.
Let's even remain on your argument.
Yes.
Obi, let me be.
That's a fact. You know what you are buying.
Listen, upon say we invest huge sums of money in one at that particular aspect. Okay, it's time I say we are momuti abona mo kan na mbo kra mo hwese and can make me atra na kan kokọ dia I mean demand na say we can mo make me so na create more jobs mo kan na ntwe dia na o man yibo kase man kan be boni Ghana
1.7.
Okay,
sure.
Once spreading upon all those aspects in na ni nyina sha agre krase one fan call now we based on just food we are among the top 10.
Yeah, Obi.
Highest food inflation in Africa.
Obi.
I mean, where in the world?
2015.
Yeah, where in the world?
Where in the world?
Obi. In 2016, Agric grew in the negative in Ghana. Agric, its contribution to our GDP, it grew in a negative. You see, these issues here. Obi, media. I will keep making the point, and the President of the Republic, Waka, we've been hit by crisis. And the places you went to, the places Muko 2014 IMF, baby, now you say will bring our economy back. They are telling you, say, this is not the Ghana we know. And the reason has been ascribed for the entire away. Obi, I will leave you a document. No, we are what kind? Your timer, we would have digressed how we got to where we are today. Ethiopia can ascribe anything. But I'm telling you, say, the performance of this government in all the sectors. And you can quote inflation, you can quote interest rate, you can quote all these things. If all things being equal, ya nya sa crisis ya enye and the moody jay no ya nya baby I could do me, I'll be first person to own up, say, we failed this country. But in the first 2 years, our performance shows, say, we were on a very good path. And every indication shows at the time, not the conditions that existed under your time, it was the same condition. And that is where you can do comparison. But now, UK, you see how many demonstrations any hit UK? How many prime ministers have been changed in 3 months? How many finance ministers lost their job in the UK? All because of economic issues. Europe, Obi, Oko American there. They can't say mortgages. It's one of the things they don't joke with it, because that is how people buy their homes and live and all that. Go and find the mortgage rate in America today. It is a crisis. But in the face of all these things, no government programs, I initiate. We have not stopped any of them. We are continuing to pursue aggressively government programs. Yesterday. It's a yes, populism we and I bet say NDC, the same NDC, the same John Mahama, the same group of people. I'm sorry, you track record in this country where we never had this global crisis. And this cannot be said. They can hoodwink everybody. They think is that NDC had any magical one to change the situation we find ourselves today. My goodness. When President Kufuor left a sterling economy for you after a core HIPIC, and we worked our way out of HIPIC, a MAM economy that was on a sound footing. A JAM economy that was growing at the rate of about 8.5%. Moko after 8 years, you left out an economy that was growing at the rate of 3%. In 2 years, we changed the narrative to bring it back to the rate of 7%. But for COVID and the Russian-Ukraine war, that affected the global supply chain. In the Namo feel say you want to pontificate that you are more pope than the Pope in Vatican. Then it means Ghana for Sebi. Said the President Mahama. Said the President Mahama catch it and say Ghana for we have a very short memory. On this score against the NDC, John Mahama and his way for the Obi, our short memories, yanya a draw. Yanya a draw over our short memories in this country. So the debate and argument will be fine. But media, I keep saying we must state the fact as it is. Me say yeah, make us say yeah, yeah, make us say yeah. Every country has changed the way. And look, fact is monetary policy. There's never been a time a monetary policy is the same as the commercial bank rate. It has never been the case. So definitely if it's 28%, obviously you get about 32, 35%, depending on where you are getting your risk level and all that. So you have an average of how much the commercial banks will charge you based on the policy. Yeah, bomb pie. So in the long term, yeah, recovery is not the idea we are. It should come down to a very minimal. It should come down to a very minimal level. Okay. Said yeah, Sebi, and inflation, M1 ubia, interest rate kosra, M1 ubia. In the 2000s, and inflation rate was about 40% in this country. Sure. Now, MPP took the MPP administration to bring inflation to that level. Professor Mills, NDC time, they came to 1 year plus doing single-digit inflation, which was good for business. And to me, and Phyllis said, all is well. But in the situation we find ourselves, service NDC in our power, you had everything going for you. It was not as worse as it is today. Look, Obi, problem ayenya.
Asempa FM.
We are seeing now asisa. Obi are born isika hobai. The domestic bond holders are mostly largely foreigners because of the global economic challenge. Nobody wanted to roll over Nisikabium for your economy to work. So immediately you have a challenge of balance of payment. And it doesn't take a day to be able to win back the confidence. And you're attributing not. Look, we live in this country where banking supervision was the biggest problem in this country. Say you best save banks. You call G 9 billion cedis. Your chairman of banks, Ebikopi was Zimbabwe. We lost a lot of money. It took government a lot of effort to be able to bring the banking sector. And so when they criticize the banking sector clean up. But I'm telling you, over 4.6 million depositors. Send this another opportunity. They would have crashed the banking sector. 4.5 deposited would have lost their investment. But saving all these people, it came with a huge cost. That cost, it will take time for the economy to right itself.
Okay.
Say correct is our wrongs, say, if you ask an average man on the street between the MPP and NDC, who are the better managers of this economy, they will tell you. Banyama and Koye as it is. And these are the problems you face over time. And we will continue to plead with Ghanaians and say, people should be patient with us. Look, are buying its own expenditure. A lot of measures have been put in place. Admit now Moka, President took one idea. Yes, it's a good call. We all want an expenditure. Let Obi can send me also call JFK. The president arrived in JFK on a commercial flight. Could you believe, sir, the president had to go through the check system? No, the only thing was that they have to take his passport. Now, you can't pick him from the tarmac. You can't pick him from the tarmac if you arrive with a commercial flight. So you see, there are a lot of issues who took Efigan apart from Emirates that has a first class cabin.
Sure. For
security reasons for the president. Apart from that, all the flight that calls in Ghana,
business class.
So if you are traveling with your security details and everything, now you are putting the president that was touring about 3-4 European countries for a program. What's the president in body commercial flight to do what? Now if you know yet trotro. There are a lot of security implications, even to the host countries and all that. So it is not for fanfare. President Akufo-Addo, and then obviously said you full plane. And sometimes it inconveniences all of us in terms of expenditure. But if you look at the cost-benefit analysis, in terms of the risk level of a president and the security details that comes with it, sometimes Obi, yet American president will visit Ghana. The security attaches it can be 2 weeks. Now who will so the beast, car, no baby. You know how much it costs American taxpayer? It is not because they want to spend the money, but the security of the president. That is so important. And I'm not too sure. Say you can't presidency, it doesn't limit to Akufo-Addo. Former President Mills, Mahama, everybody traveled on private jets in this country. It is about time. And let's say I call you presidential jet, say any year. Who is going to fly a private jet? You never. But the security of a president to a country, you think it's the same as me and Metihai? It is not the same. It is even not for nothing. Obviously, members of parliament, any person will be over Kruma. I don't my security details. I don't my police for DH. Because when you lose the life of one 7 member of parliament, it costs the country more to even fix and put the person back, another person in place. It doesn't mean say my 275 policemen. Some of my security, of course, me JB Bond there. Me policemen and me driving there.
MPs the no one be.
Me police.
One what size I won't pay.
Police me driver me and me driving me and me one me now. And then me party for. So you see, are you saying say Sabi nipa ba kono ni hu won fa so anga NDC for say per cost cost and can one return to police officers because some person bo mine no na police for nko then ko bo ejuma but police ni mini MP no woni ni chamber what ni car mo what that's how we are not the neko. It is because of the unique position you hold. Yeah by election back who krom ha obi, you know the cost of that by election and nothing of mine say never say Ibia MPB be training and say any appointee or the exec who lost his life because also we be attacking and say BB and the state no provide security. You think the state want to waste the money?
Okay.
It has very important role to play. And yes, if I say it was cap Bruce and can say the man provide security more be Sabi so be able to training. Ordinary people on the street someone not sure more. But why should he provide security for them? And to say yeah can't say any situation here. Now we want to be populist. This populism in the 1979. Yes, it's a now what toilet in the room. There's a wabo musio. Yeah, they no cry your politics to abide Ukroma. And so there's anglo for no yes our politics. No, go to their homes where they live in this country and the luxury of their homes. But the people who suffered it in the 79s and the 80s, into the 90s, they were vilified. So taking the loan had become a crime. But today, the microphone is so successful, we celebrate them. The banks supported them to get to where they are. Anti-politics. Now funny kakra. As young people, as we do the politics, we should support our own. More modern say Ghanaian businesses will take a center stage. Look, COVID, when you say some companies that really made a lot of money. I'll share a data with you from Ghana Enterprises Agency. The role local businesses played in this COVID. But for that vision, for 1D, 1F, supporting local and indigenous businesses before the COVID came, I would have struggled. The pharmaceutical industry, the Nipa Big Bray, we put them through and they really supported. Otherwise, our situation would have been worse than Yehu and they. So, media, yes, we have a crisis, but there's a roadmap to come out of this crisis. And I believe, sir, look, I remember in 2019, Ghana was adjudged the best agriculture investment destination. I was in Addis, heads of state way in Addis. Senior planting for food and jobs, and I'm happy. They be quoted Sapapano, former MP for Ijura.
Yeah,
Pangambo. His testimony about planting for food and jobs, how it changed his life. So you cannot belittle it. But it doesn't also mean that you can criticize the program. Maybe I'm criticizing on this program. Say we've invested in the peasant farmers for a very long time. Let us move into commercialization. Of agriculture. Say well. 10. Now only big commercial farms are obviously. Zoom Lion is doing something with the rice sector, which I think with the people from Thailand. I had a briefing because I'm a member of the local government committee. We see the presentations and the roadmap. I think that we should support him to move agriculture from the peasant status into a commercialized way. And not bet me a boy. They will come out from the problem.
I mean, now say just in again, unfortunate news about fresh earthquake hit Turkey, Antakya. And we are told that this quake was also felt in part of Syria, Egypt, and Lebanon. 6.3 magnitude. The first one, Kumnipa 45,000. 8 was it? No, 7. And 7 magnitude. Indeed, that's really, really huge. Another one there. But this time, we've not gotten any information said damage near that severe first one. But we will keep our fingers crossed. Near I said, you may be lawyer, me into you finally as we wrap up.
I wanted to be on record, sir. I said it here. Sir, Ghana was ranked to be having the highest food inflation in Africa. More or less a counter report which cited Ghana as number 10 in the world, right?
In the world, sure.
But again, to make my point solid, I've gone back to check my records, and I have it here now. This report I made was reported by Ghanaian Times, it was reported by Ghana Web, and then BBC.com. Okay. But I'm citing from BBC.
Okay.
But it will be also which must check it comparatively also to check. Now, World Bank ranks Ghana first as country with the highest food inflation in sub-Saharan Africa in 2022, based on the October 2022 African Pulse report. In January 1st, 2020, food prices in Ghana went up by 122%. Countries are now a Kakra. The second was Senegal. Then Nigeria also having, I think, the fourth with 106.5. Senegal, the 110. And then Uganda was also the third with 107% food price inflation. Ghana, they breaking down, Kakra. And this is what they said was Ghana, oil and fats, 67%. Fish and other foods, other seafoods, 42.9%. Water, 42%. Cereal products, 40%. Milk, dairy products, and eggs, 39.7%. Fruits and vegetables, vegetable juice, 37.7%, and then live animal and meats, 34.5%. This is the report from BBC.com. So it comes to support the point I'm making is that indeed food inflation, per the World Bank report, we were number 1 in Africa. What did I kind of now say the world, right? Yeah, so we were 10 10 in the world and 1 in Africa. And that, the point I was trying to make was that former MP for is it New Japan? One of the Indiana Yamako is Sibeya and some Marcus Sibeya.
New job in South, former MP.
He granted an interview, he said it. So look at the man that you are pushing to food, the planting for food and jobs. Or no, I call because I yielded the result that you are looking for. So what says Kaboom when you are question, not a still now, your rank as number 1 in Africa. So when you board, are you making impact? And he so, I mean, go around to be singing hymns for this, that you and someone because why are they? Again, Obi. You see, America across one threshold, no one will be seen, and they won't cry on Bobby Siam. That's yes. But America today is proud of one thing. At least every American can say their country has a unique across-board infrastructure development. Across-board. I'm using the word across-board because not infrastructure in yourself. Every other aspect of infrastructure. I promote the economy. What do you compare the you know me your partner?
Asempa FM.
Yes, you are Bobby Siami and Timmy. Have you heard the World Bank warning IMF? Sorry, warning America for say home visible because when business on bond they have the capacity to pay number one, they have the capacity also to sustain themselves. Way back 2020, we were warned because ya homeboys in your country kase yet ne ya bob brad zesikani me was you be. You say you Ghana debt from 9 billion to 122, and then I'm saying over 500 billion. And you know over that over 500 billion. More can yes. And how do you bring that down to say and when you're there? Why do you think officers are the papa year? Madam again, I'll quote Madam Sophia Kufu. What's it? Accountability. Have you been able to account properly to Ghanaians about how you have borrowed and what you have used the money for?
But this
okay,
this argument, Obi. You see, excuse me.
When you were talking, I was here.
I'll give you time.
No, if you still give me time, I'll come in.
Don't worry.
All right, that's fine. And that is the point I'm trying to make here. She cited argument on accountability. Having borrowed all these monies, and this about Bession, yes. President Kufuor Bession, yes. But Anya Biano, we can sit here and cite things. And now, baby, I'm a Twitter. And I saw the president citing that in the video I'm here, was it? Foreign, I mean, at the Western world, no, at your JJ Mubra covered by, you know, they were not paying attention to us in them. Say, or once again, the man United, what kind of report? And I don't care. When you're not in the report, no. What kind of account? Because so what kind of when we say, where they were giving you money, you were proudly sitting here misusing the funds.
94.
Instead of using it to fight COVID. Now this can it be World Bank, IMF, dear, with the Biakoye seed capitals on for Ghana, the bank in Pa, in your mind into existence. In your mind into existence, we saw this kind of trust the seed capital more. Was that what they told you to use the money for? Sanum and any more cast of a and then you are accusing them of even, I mean, neglecting you when you were in crisis. They gave you the support. Don't forget that crisis was also across board, was global. The impact some countries had, I've said that on countless occasions, except those who don't dispute the truth. So also the kind of the impact COVID had on certain economies. How many portions of Ghana went on lockdown? There are some countries, the entire country now equal lockdown. Here only 1.5 cities.
Two
2.5 cities. Make an example. Say
two most economically vibrant cities. So Accra and Kumasi and part of Kaswa. Yes.
Kaswa, Central region.
Yes.
In the 2.5 cities. I say economically vibrant. I know. But for how long were we locked down?
Asempa FM.
For how long was
94.7
this vibrant cities you were locked down? It was about, if I'm not mistaken, 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yes.
Thank you. Nini United, what's with the an equivalent of about $10 million economy and a chairman growth. Equivalent of about $10 million. What's with the no and a chairman growth? Do you know what $10 million can do? Because $290 million was it when we kind of you know. Do you know what $10 million can do for certain communities in this country?
Okay.
Yet also this can't know the animal for. And you keep citing COVID. I mean, say, oh, you see, listen, those languages that the IMF phone back at them, they are diplomatic language. But the critical language is now getting behind the curtain. Yeah, they are not telling you what you want to hear. There are two languages that they speak. Critical language and diplomatic language. In the presence of the people. The diplomatic one natural. Who doesn't know COVID came? You'll be on the COVID by. But see, COVID by nature would see COVID levy and then tax. Well, but one year the severe effect in Pony. You keep blaming them for their woes. Again, they talk about growth. Let me say it here on record again. Ghana's growth of that 7% that started manifesting somewhere 2017 onwards, towards 2018. It was not the making of the MPP government. Take it for the records. Check the World Bank and IMF reports. They anticipated that because of the IMF we went in 2015-2016. Anticipated growth for the enemy. Once the program ends, that growth was going to come. Then I burn some Kunti and Master group by. It's there already. It is there. It was cited by the IMF and the World Bank that because of that policy now, you have to get the you see about policy credibility. The best you think as a mono. Or money but tumpo, money benini, and you rated benini about 7%. They said it. And not the when Obama growth will be a buyer. Modia about Tumquemo and a man baby. But the proper reality in the wood, the Nafina was on the national. I think a job was a wild bobra. Wild bobra and only a neck, baby, a muscle idea could we. I got to a young years of the man. So that tells your competence. That time I know become be guided on a dear. Sabin now was so hoarding. No doing. Or train who Java Cabino, also got to. That is how we find ourselves. So, and then, so also was sight here, and then I will be encountered. I won't call Bob Brown, she may be out there could do it. A level that we have never been before.
Very well.
And now they could do it. It is a most I'm proud of once a mama growth be by 2017, 2018, grow by 7%. What did you do? Moya
Lawyer Chumberema, a member of the NDC, Emreno Ekwe was here, sorry. Honorable,
you see,
a minute.
Former President Mahama Okasembi say obi obebisa say sika mukoje mudi yeden or you're ignorant of how
also call parliament
or you're ignorant, and I'm sorry because see I've come to believe say anybody who asks na sika mudi yeden is ignorant. The fact still remains sika bia e mobilize here, it was with the tacit approval of parliament for 3 key things, and let me repeat on this program again. For 3 major reasons. And in COVID hit and say, look, number 1, for direct COVID intervention expenses. Nipa better hotels, tracking, now plane bar, now testing for direct COVID expenditure. I buy it. The part of the money. 3 things. Number 2, a support to the funding gap. Because the catch say, revenue shortfall of 4.14% of our GDP. So there was a funding gap of your original programmer while programming for the year and a review. So part of the money echo into funding your budget. So there's nothing wrong. And these were all records from Parliament. And then the last but not the least, COVID by exposing the weaknesses in our infrastructure. I actually fighting pandemics. So part of the money, the third one, went into tackling infrastructure deficit. And it will go along with some of them are still even ongoing. And it's the trans near Kasa say, and Amunya Sika say, and Amudi day. That ignorance must stop. Parliament has records of all this expenditure. And let me tell you, sir, Obi, COVID-19 audit It came a special request at the insistence of the minister. So, oh, he has special a friend is audit on the COVID-19 expenses. So, Obimbetna, no more, and Namunya say you had a huge financing gap. Then direct COVID-19 that gap, no? So part of the money it went into supporting your budget, and then the physical infrastructure weaknesses are identified, no? To correct it. And it's not a day or two. Intermediate, Obi, Omaimo, Unam Street is so. People will have cause to pick with the MPP. But Bisa almost say between the MPP and the NDC, who are the better managers of this economy? They will tell you. But intermediate, the Americans say we have a crisis. We are navigating our way through. Ghana for nya ye ho abotre. Ye call NDC for IMF for Mokoya. Ye buy and there was an exit point. Normally, conditions are not at that NDC for so. They cannot employ nursing trainer. These were freezes based on their conditions what they call IMF. Ye buy ye programs. Ye did buy mono. We were still rolling out our programs. And we further extended the IMF exit plan for 1 year. If they care to know. So it is not entirely true. Say NDC for programs and Mashisha to Amaye and they could do here. They started free SHS. Did we exited IMF before it started the free SHS? They started free toll for a friend say Kaya in this country. Nursing training allowance, teacher training allowance, our 1D 1F programs they started and we didn't exit the IMF program. Tamana year call for Fiscal Responsibility Act from Parliament to restrain government expenditure. Now we have not exited the IMF program. We did all these things because of the program by Abaimo. It's not the NDC who comes to power on the basis of lies and propaganda without a program. Yeah, by Abaimo with a program, and these programs have been affected because of these two major problems. And the IMF now you so believe in the IMF. So they gave you policy credibility. They are telling you the diagnosis on this economy is largely because of these two factors. And they say, what IMF? Akwaji policy credibility. Even before we finish the negotiations with IMF, they are telling us that they know and you're gonna hankwa all over the world. And they are committing. Last year they commit 650 billion 2021 to 2022 to supporting countries, and they are going to do more. So what is wrong with that?
Very well. Honorable Mamina say, lawyer, also in your 1 minute.
I was you see, you 2 million actually see. What I say? Me say, COVID, buy. The correct. By we are seeing Ghana nyabi. Ghana, adebia mo no ya the positive aspect and the negative aspect. The negative part of COVID ne say affected certain economies or our economies fine. A science to be fracture will be in America and any other countries. If we do by this, I think country like Italy, at some point they were doing cremations. I was sure because you never be anybody even go see. So how been at the buy. But aside that, the positive part of the business say, and my mind be an omunya deninya, I want to swallow a crabby for a sickasabon. Obi, young Obra born in this one, born in tea. I'm just reading just one thing, but you know, that's what I call. This is the COVID audit report. I'm reading paragraph number 226. The head in here, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Was we noted during the examination of payment records that out of 4.5 million Ghana cedis allocated to the headquarters, payment in totaling 285,135 Ghana cedis 0.64 were made for transactions which were not COVID-19 related. Misapplication of COVID fund and only the bold head and arm that so. A release of funds for the purchase of curtains for the following rooms. Rooms for that institution here. Perfect Eye Ventures. Perfect Eye Ventures in the room 1, no, room 32, room 13, room 38, room 56 in that order. You got curtains in my same room. What I mean, if you have such a reckless team of people managing your affairs in this country, what could this guys all the fight COVID? What the curtains? What the curtains are my room will be? And this government is so proud of himself. Of course, you cannot COVID 9 when you are COVID is kind of coffee brand adiabo.
I don't know a room on the patient to be cool. Who
was I? Okay. Say room on the patient and was his application. Was it not COVID related? Say COVID patient I don't call her any more or less COVID related. But was it a non-COVID related? Perfect eye events was what saying. Perfect eye ventures. Eye ventures or Obi. We go no hospital like I say. I yani. Ah, yeah, talk curtains, money rooms, and the listed rooms in Neguano. 32, 13, 38, 56, 57, 43, 16. Check it. So you are misusing funds for this, I mean, one necessary purposes. Payment of allowances to the audit committee for its second quarter retreat to be held on 18th and 19th June. Can you imagine? Can you imagine when you are new? COVID about who could hear Obi retreat of retreat in 19th and 18th June. 19th and 18th June 2020. Sabe no not be yes will be entered people are even working from home no. Obi maybe you go retreat. Allowance. Wait. Wait. These are the best managers of the economy no. The protectors of the public purse woman. One talk at this my ventures with COVID money. Then you get the auditor general to come and tell you so you have misapplied the funds that was given you.
Kabila said you. What if this observation by the auditor general turns out not to be accurate?
Would not turns out not to be them accurate. Any institution that they went to, who say wrong acts now, they give you opportunities to justify yourself. They did it. For it not to be accurate, no.
Obi, please ask Honorable Sylvester Tete that if he admitted that we are in crisis and we are not in normal times, doesn't he think this is the time to reduce our ministers and cut down costs? Dr. Lawrence, Washington, D.C. Obi, didn't the NDC take credit for the growth of the economy when Ghana started producing oil under Kufuor, Edwin, in Takrade?
Ghana did not start producing oil under Kufuor.
Ghana discovered
oil. Oil production started
in
2010.
Yes.
And it was launched by President Mills in Takrade.
Sure.
So get your facts right. Thank you.
Hey, so the lawyer Chumberry one I'm attending Ghana Ekosiisen high Asempa 94.7 FM. The Jumedi University, but before that there is this song I've been